So, if you did order one of my worm trampolines, contact me for a refund. Hello again. So, as promised, this is what the worm bin with the compostable question mark wrapper looked like on the 17th of August. Apologies though this is late being uploaded, but this was recorded on the 17th, so there's been some flies in there. As you can see, we got some little maggots, so I'll just remove them. We don't want them. Now the bin looks quite wet, but I think that might have something to do with the watermelon that's been added to it to try and keep the worms in the same place. You can see I'm just feeding. I tend to feed right across the bin, as you'd have seen in previous videos, but what I'm trying to do for this little experiment is keep the majority of the worms in one spot over where the compostable wrapper is. And you can see that they are staying there, so there's nothing inherent in the wrapper which is causing the worms a problem or causing them to avoid that part of the bin, so that's a good sign. This has been running now for 4 weeks, I think, at this stage. So 2 weeks ago I added a slice of watermelon into the wrapper. You can see the worms are getting into the wrapper, and that's all that's left of the watermelon, just the very outer skin. So they have been obviously in the bag, in the wrapper. It's quite clearly not causing them a problem. Now 2 weeks ago this was very springy, hence my innovative worm trampoline, but I'm noticing now there is you see that tore straight away, so the wrapper is weakening. That's another big tear there now on the edge. It's spring has sprung. It doesn't sprung the way it did 2 weeks ago. So that's kind of thrown me off a little bit, because I had a different plan for the 17th, because I was expecting the result to be the same. And it's not. The bag is weakening. I'm not going to say breaking down at this stage, because it's clearly not breaking down, but it's definitely weaker. Now I don't know if that's to do with the moisture content, or if it's the actions of the bacteria in the bin. It won't be the actions of the worms. They're not doing anything to the wrapper at the moment. But I'm just wondering if it is starting to break down. Although this is a cold composting system, and I think we're all agreed we'd have seen better and quicker results in a hot composting system. But I'm now going to leave this for another 2 weeks. We'll come back in 2 weeks' time and have another look at it and see what the wrapper looks like then. So same drill as last time. I'm just going to put a little piece of watermelon in to encourage the worms to stay in that area around the wrapper. The worms are looking healthy and well, and they're thriving. Lots of casts along the edge of the tray that you can see there. It's so there's obviously a lot of activity. With the warm weather that we're having, this because it's plastic, it sweats. So there's a lot of moisture on the inside of the roof and on the sides, and that will encourage the worms to go wandering. So I'm quite sure I've lost a lot of escapees, but this bin sits on cardboard. All my outdoor bins, if they're like this, self-contained trays or whatever, they sit on cardboard, because it makes it easy to find the worms. They will just be under the cardboard. They're very energy efficient worms. They'll only go as far as they need to. Now I spotted 3 escapees, and this is the easiest way to pick them up from an uneven surface. Just get a bit of soil or compost, roll it into a ball and press it onto the worms, and then the worms will come up. Hey presto. If you try to pick them up with a stick or your finger or whatever, there's a good chance you might injure the worm, because it will try and resist. It obviously thinks you're a bird or something is attacking it and trying to eat it. It just makes life a lot easier. Roll up a little bowl of soil, compost, whatever, press it onto the worm, and the worm will come up. Dead easy. So what we'll do now is we'll cover this up, and we'll come back in 2 weeks' time, which is 31st of August. As always, thanks for watching. Bye for now.